First Contact and Misjudgment. The Zarthonian ship emerged from hyperspace on the outskirts of the Sol system, its sleek crystalline hull glittering against the backdrop of infinite stars. Commander Xyra stood on the bridge, her 4 eyes fixed on the viewscreen as it zoomed in on the third planet from the system's yellow star. "Remarkable," she murmured, her tentacles rippling with excitement. "After centuries of searching, we finally found another sentient species." Her second-in-command, Krell, nodded in agreement. "Indeed, Commander, but preliminary scans show their technology is primitive at best." Xyra's uppermost eyes narrowed. "Elaborate." Krell tapped a few buttons on his console, bringing up a holographic display of Earth. They've barely left their own planet. Their energy production relies heavily on burning fossil fuels. Their weapons are mostly kinetic and chemical-based. They haven't even achieved unity as a species. They're divided into numerous factions called countries. Fascinating, Xyra mused. They're like children, stumbling through their first steps into the cosmos. For weeks, the Zarthonian ship observed Earth, collecting data on human civilization. They watched as humans fought wars, polluted their environment, and struggled with social inequalities. But they also saw flashes of brilliance, technological leaps, acts of kindness, and a relentless drive to explore and understand their world. "They're a paradox," Xyra said during a briefing with her senior staff, "capable of both great destruction and remarkable creativity. But they're clearly not ready for the realities of the galactic community." "What do you propose, Commander?" asked Krell. Xyra's tentacles curled thoughtfully. "We have a duty to guide less advanced species. The Zarthonian Imperium has done this countless times before. We'll make contact, offer our wisdom and technology, and shepherd them towards a more enlightened existence." The senior staff nodded in agreement, none of them questioning the assessment. After all, the Zarthonians had successfully guided dozens of young civilizations over the millennia. Surely these humans would be no different. On a warm summer night, the Zarthonian ship decloaked over New York City, its massive form casting a shadow over the glittering metropolis. Panic erupted in the streets as people pointed and stared at the alien vessel hovering above them. Xyra's voice boomed across the city, translated into every major language. "People of Earth, do not be afraid. We come in peace and with the promise of a brighter future." In the days that followed, world leaders gathered at the United Nations to meet with the Zarthonian delegation. Xyra stood before them, her alien form both terrifying and awe-inspiring. "We have watched your civilization," she began, "and we see great potential in you. But you are young, prone to conflict and self-destruction. We offer you our guidance, our technology, and our wisdom. Together, we can elevate humanity to new heights." The human leaders listened, some with hope, others with skepticism. Questions flew rapid fire. "What's the catch? Why should we trust you? What do you get out of this arrangement?" Xyra's upper eyes blinked in amusement. These humans were more inquisitive than she had anticipated. "We seek only to help you avoid the mistakes our own civilization made in its youth," she explained. "In return, we ask for your cooperation and the opportunity to study your unique culture." Debates raged for weeks. Some nations eagerly accepted the Zarthonian offer, while others remained wary. But gradually, a consensus emerged. Humanity would accept the aliens' guidance, at least officially, as Zarthonian advisors spread across the globe, sharing technologies to clean the environment, enhance food production, and cure diseases. Xyra felt a sense of satisfaction. These humans were adaptable, quick to grasp new concepts. Perhaps guiding them would be easier than she had initially thought. But deep beneath the streets of major cities around the world, in secret bunkers and hidden laboratories, a different story was unfolding. Groups of scientists, military personnel, and government officials met in shadows, their faces grim with determination. "We can't trust these aliens," said General Sarah Chen, her voice barely above a whisper. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. If they decided to conquer us tomorrow, we'd be helpless. Dr. Amit Patel, a renowned physicist, nodded in agreement. But we have an advantage they don't expect. They think we're primitive, easily controlled. They won't see us coming. So what do you propose? Asked President Emeka Okafor, his eyes moving from face to face in the dimly lit room. Dr. Patel smiled, a glint of excitement in his eyes. We learn, we adapt. We take every scrap of knowledge they give us and push it further than they could imagine. And all the while, we let them think they're in control. General Chen leaned forward, her voice filled with quiet intensity. We prepare for the day when we'll need to defend ourselves, not just as individual nations, but as a united human race. President Okafor considered their words, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. Finally, he nodded. Do it. But remember, absolute secrecy is crucial. As far as the Zarthonians are concerned, we're grateful students, nothing more. As the meeting adjourned, none of them could have predicted the chain of events they had just set in motion. The Zarthonians, in their arrogance, had gravely underestimated humanity's potential, and in doing so, they had sown the seeds of their own downfall. In the years that followed, humanity played a delicate game of deception. On the surface, they embraced Zarthonian teachings, marveling at each new piece of alien technology. But in secret, human ingenuity worked overtime, reverse engineering and improving upon every innovation. Exira, watching from her ship in orbit, felt a sense of pride in her new prodigies. See how quickly they learn, she told Krell. In a few centuries, they might even be ready to join the galactic community as equals. Krell's tentacles twitched nervously. Are you sure we're not moving too fast, Commander? There's something unpredictable about these humans. Exira dismissed his concerns with a wave of her upper limb. All young species seem unpredictable at first. Trust in our experience. We know what's best for them. But down on Earth, in labs hidden from prying alien eyes, humanity was about to prove just how wrong that assumption was. The Great Deception. As years passed, the Zarthonian presence on Earth became a normal part of life. Their towering structures dotted major cities, gleaming beacons of advanced technology. Humans and aliens worked side by side in research facilities, hospitals, and environmental restoration projects. To the Zarthonians, it seemed their mission to guide humanity was proceeding smoothly. Commander Exira stood in her office aboard the orbiting mothership, gazing down at the blue-green marble of Earth. Progress report, Krell, she requested. Her second-in-command's tentacles danced over a holographic display. Environmental pollutants are down 60% globally. Disease rates have plummeted, and their scientific understanding has advanced remarkably. They're even starting to grasp the basics of our faster-than-light travel technology. Iris' upper eyes crinkled in satisfaction. Excellent. They're advancing even faster than we predicted. Perhaps in another decade or two, we can begin discussing their role in the wider galactic community. But Krell's lower eyes narrowed with concern. Commander, there's something odd in the data. Energy consumption patterns don't quite match the technology we've provided. And there are gaps in our surveillance, moments where we lose track of key human leaders. Exira waved a dismissive tentacle. Anomalies are to be expected, Krell. They're still learning to use our technology efficiently. As for the surveillance gaps, well, even our systems aren't perfect. Don't let paranoia cloud your judgment. If only she knew how right Krell's suspicions were. Deep beneath the streets of Tokyo, in a sprawling underground complex, shielded from Zarthonian sensors, Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood before a group of the world's top scientists and military leaders. Behind her, a massive holographic display showed a dizzying array of schematics and data streams. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, her voice filled with barely contained excitement. I'm pleased to report that Project Phoenix is ahead of schedule. We've successfully reverse-engineered the Zarthonian faster-than-light drive and improved its efficiency by 30%. A murmur of amazement rippled through the audience. General Chen, now sporting a few more gray hairs, leaned forward. And weapons? Dr. Tanaka's expression turned grim. We've made significant progress. Our particle beam weapons now match Zarthonian capabilities, and we've developed a new shield technology that should be able to withstand their strongest attacks. President Okafor, looking older but no less determined, stood up. Excellent work, all of you. But remember, we're not looking for a fight. This is about ensuring humanity's independence and survival. He turned to face the assembly, his voice resonating with quiet intensity. For 10 years, we've played the part of grateful students. We've smiled and nodded at their guidance, while pushing our own innovations far beyond what they think us capable of. The Zarthonians believe they're uplifting a primitive species. In reality, they've given us the tools to challenge their dominance. A holographic globe appeared, showing a network of hidden human facilities spread across the planet. Our shadow infrastructure is nearly complete, Okafor continued. Factories, shipyards, research centers, all hidden from Zarthonian eyes. We're almost ready to step out of the shadows. Dr. Patel, his hair now streaked with silver, raised a hand. And what then? Do we reveal ourselves? Demand recognition as equals. Okafor's expression hardened. That's the hope. But we must be prepared for the possibility that the Zarthonians won't relinquish their perceived control easily. That's why we need to be ready for any scenario. As the meeting continued, plans were laid out for humanity's grand reveal. But even as humanity prepared to assert its independence, life on the surface continued its charade of grateful acceptance. In schools across the globe, children learned Zarthonian language and customs alongside human subjects. Adults attended seminars on galactic history and alien philosophy. To all outward appearances, humanity was eagerly embracing its role as the Zarthonians' latest prodigy species. Zyra herself often participated in public events, showcasing the harmony between humans and Zarthonians. At one such event in Cairo, she stood beside the Egyptian president, her tentacles spread wide in a gesture of benevolence. "Look how far you've come," she addressed the crowd, her words translated instantly by advanced audio systems. "In just a decade, you've eliminated poverty in this region. Your cities are cleaner, your people healthier. This is the power of galactic cooperation." The crowd cheered, their faces beaming with gratitude. But if Kyra had looked closer, she might have noticed the calculating gleam in some eyes, the subtle tension in seemingly relaxed postures. Humanity had become expert performers, playing the role of the thankful, subservient species to perfection. Even as Syra basked in the adulation, a very different scene was unfolding in a secret facility beneath the Sahara. There, the first human-built faster-than-light ship was undergoing its final tests. Named Phoenix, it incorporated both Zarthonian technology and uniquely human innovations. Captain Elena Rodriguez ran her hand along the ship's sleek hull, marveling at what human ingenuity had accomplished. "She's beautiful," she murmured to her chief engineer. "And more importantly, she works," the engineer replied with a grin. "We've successfully completed 3 covered test flights to the edge of the solar system and back. The Zarthonians didn't detect a thing." Elena nodded, her expression a mix of pride and apprehension. "Good. Because soon we'll be taking her much further than that." As the day of humanity's grand revelation approached, tension mounted in hidden bunkers and secret meetings around the world. Years of deception were about to come to an end. Humanity was poised to step onto the galactic stage, not as a subservient prodigy, but as a force to be reckoned with. In her orbiting command ship, Zyra continued to watch over Earth, blissfully unaware of the storm that was about to break. She saw a planet transformed by Zarthonian guidance, a young species taking its first tentative steps towards galactic citizenship. How wrong she was. In less than a week, the carefully constructed illusion would shatter. Humanity would reveal its true face, and the galaxy would learn a harsh lesson about the dangers of underestimating this young, ambitious species from a small blue planet. The stage was set, the actors were in place, and the greatest deception in galactic history was about to reach its climactic final act. Humanity's surprising counterattack. The day of revelation dawned bright and clear over every major city on Earth. In New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, and countless other metropolises, massive crowds gathered in central squares. Zarthonian officials stood on stages, prepared to make what they believed would be a momentous announcement about humanity's progress. Aboard her orbiting command ship, Commander Xyra prepared to address the planet. Her tentacles quivered with anticipation as she rehearsed her speech one last time. Today, she practiced, we officially recognize humanity's readiness to begin the process of joining the galactic community. But before she could start the official broadcast, alarms blared across the ship. Krell burst onto the bridge, all four of his eyes wide with panic. "Commander," he gasped, "we're detecting massive energy signatures all over the planet. Thousands of them, unlike anything we've seen from the humans before." Xyra's upper eyes narrowed in confusion. "What? That's impossible. Bring it up on screen." The main view screen flickered to life, showing a global map dotted with pulsing red points. As they watched, objects began launching from these points, sleek vessels that shot into the sky with impossible speed. "By the cosmic void," Xyra whispered, "those are ships, human ships." On Earth, the gathered crowds watched in awe as the sky filled with vessels of human design. In New York, President Okafor stepped onto the stage, gently but firmly moving aside the stunned Zarthonian representative. "People of Earth, and our Zarthonian guests," he began, his voice carried by advanced human audio tech to every corner of the globe and beyond. "For a decade, we have played the part of humble students. We have smiled and nodded at guidance we outgrew years ago. Today, that charade ends." In orbit, human ships took up formation around the Zarthonian vessels. They didn't attack, but their message was clear. The balance of power had shifted. Captain Elena Rodriguez, at the helm of the Phoenix, opened a channel to Xyra's ship. "Zarthonian command vessel, this is Captain Rodriguez of the Earth Fleet. We mean you no harm, but we will no longer accept your dominion over our world. We are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary." Aboard her ship, Xyra stared at the view screen in disbelief. "How?" she managed to ask. "How did you hide this from us?" Elena's lips curled into a small smile. "You gave us the tools, Commander. We simply used them in ways you never imagined. Human ingenuity, combined with your technology, is a powerful force." As this exchange took place in orbit, back on Earth, hidden facilities across the planet revealed themselves. Mountains split open to unveil massive hangars. Desert sands shifted to expose sprawling research centers. The oceans churned as underwater bases surfaced. In every major city, advanced human tech activated. Skyscrapers transformed, unfurling hidden sensors and defense systems. The air shimmered as planetary shield generators came online, creating a protective bubble around the entire world. President Okafor continued his address, his voice firm but not unkind. "To our Zarthonian friends, we thank you for your assistance over the past decade. But we are not children to be guided. We are not a primitive species to be uplifted. We are humanity, and we claim our place among the stars as equals." The response from the Zarthonian leadership was a mix of shock, anger, and fear. Some called for immediate military action to subdue the ungrateful humans. Others, seeing the impressive display of human capabilities, urged caution. Xyra, still reeling from the revelation, made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Stand down," she ordered her fleet. "Open a channel to Earth's leaders. We need to talk." What followed was a tense negotiation that lasted for days. Human leaders, now operating openly, presented their case for independence and equal status in the galactic community. They showcased technological innovations that had surpassed Zarthonian expectations and demonstrated their readiness to be a significant player in interstellar affairs. The Zarthonian leadership was divided. Some saw the humans' deception as a betrayal, arguing that such an unpredictable species couldn't be trusted. Others, including Xyra, began to realize the magnitude of their miscalculation. "We judged them by our standards," Xyra admitted in a private meeting with the Zarthonian High Council. "We assumed they would develop as we did, but their path is uniquely their own, and their potential. It's unlike anything we've encountered before." As negotiations continued, humanity revealed more of its advancements. Dr. Tanaka presented a revolutionary approach to clean energy that surpassed even Zarthonian methods. Dr. Patel demonstrated a breakthrough in quantum computing that left alien scientists stunned. And in a move that truly showcased human creativity, a team led by Dr. Maria Vasquez revealed a technology that could accelerate terraforming processes, potentially turning dead worlds into habitable planets in a fraction of the usual time. These revelations sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Other alien races, hearing of the human deception and subsequent display of power, reacted with a mix of fear, admiration, and intense curiosity. Some saw potential allies in these upstart humans. Others saw a threat to the established order. As the days turned to weeks, a new reality began to set in. Humanity would not be relegated to a subordinate role. They had earned their place at the galactic table through clever deception, relentless innovation, and an unwavering determination to chart their own course among the stars. The Zarthonians, and indeed the entire galactic community, were forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. They had severely underestimated humanity. This young species from a small blue planet had not only caught up to their so-called mentors, but in many ways had surpassed them. As the negotiations neared their conclusion, Thyra stood before the United Nations, her posture humbled but her voice sincere. "On behalf of the Zarthonian people, I extend our formal recognition of Earth as a sovereign and equal member of the galactic community. We also offer our apologies for our misguided attempts at guidance." President Okafor, standing beside her, nodded graciously. "We accept your apology and your recognition. Let this mark the beginning of a new era, one of true cooperation and mutual respect between our peoples and all sentient beings in the galaxy." As cheers erupted from the assembled delegates, Xyra couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. There was embarrassment at having so drastically misjudged humanity, but there was also a growing sense of excitement. If humans could achieve so much in mere decades, what might they accomplish in centuries? The galaxy was about to find out. And nothing would ever be the same again. The galactic conflict escalates. The initial shock of humanity's revelation rippled through the galaxy like a supernova. While the Zarthonians had reluctantly accepted Earth's new status, not all galactic powers were as accommodating. The delicate balance of interstellar politics, maintained for millennia, began to crack under the weight of this upstart species' ambitions. The Vexkar Dominion, a militant empire spanning 3 spiral arms of the galaxy, viewed humanity's rapid ascension with open hostility. Their supreme commander, Zarthal, addressed his war council with barely contained fury. "These humans are a threat to the established order," he growled, his scaled skin flushing deep crimson. "They've already upset the balance with the Zarthonians. Who knows what chaos they'll bring if left unchecked?" His advisors nodded in grim agreement. The decision was unanimous. The humans needed to be contained, by force if necessary. Back on Earth, the euphoria of independence was tempered by the realities of galactic politics. In a secure bunker beneath Geneva, world leaders and top military brass gathered to assess the growing threats. General Chen, now Earth's head of extraterrestrial defense, pointed to a holographic map of known galactic territories. "The Vexkar are mobilizing their fleets. Our long-range sensors detect movement along these vectors. They're clearly preparing for a show of force, possibly an invasion." President Okafor's face was grim. "And the Zarthonians, will they honor our new alliance?" "They claim they will," Dr. Patel interjected, "but their support may be limited. They're facing internal political turmoil over the human situation. We can't rely on them entirely. Captain Rodriguez, recently promoted to Admiral of Earth's growing space fleet, stepped forward. Then we stand alone. But we've faced worse odds before. We'll be ready. As the meeting adjourned, a sense of grim determination settled over the room. Humanity had fought for its place among the stars. Now, it would have to fight to keep it. Over the next few months, Earth became a hive of frenetic activity. Shipyards worked around the clock, churning out vessels that combined reverse-engineered alien tech with unique human innovations. Research labs pushed the boundaries of weapons technology, shield systems, and faster-than-light travel. But humanity's greatest asset remained its unpredictability and adaptability. While the Vex-Car prepared for a conventional space battle, Earth's strategists were thinking outside the box. Dr. Tanaka unveiled a breakthrough in quantum entanglement that allowed for instantaneous communication across vast distances, giving human fleets an unprecedented tactical advantage. Meanwhile, a team led by Dr. Vasquez had adapted their terraforming technology into a defensive weapon, capable of rapidly altering local space conditions to disrupt enemy ships. As tensions mounted, the first skirmishes broke out in the outer reaches of the solar system. Vex-Car scout ships probed Earth's defenses, testing for weaknesses. But each encounter only served to showcase humanity's surprising capabilities. In one notable engagement, a small squad of human ships, led by Captain Aisha Khoury, faced off against a Vex-Car battle group near Jupiter. Outnumbered and outgunned, Khoury employed a daring strategy. Using the gas giant's powerful magnetic field, her ships executed a series of complex maneuvers that confused the Vex-Car targeting systems. Then, employing their quantum communication advantage, the human ships coordinated a simultaneous strike from multiple vectors, decimating the enemy fleet. News of the victory spread quickly, bolstering human morale and sending shockwaves through the Vex-Car high command. But it also served to harden the Dominion's resolve. This was no longer about containing a potential threat. It was about crushing a genuine rival. Supreme Commander Zarthal ordered a full-scale invasion of the Sol system. Thousands of Vex-Car warships poured through faster-than-light corridors, their weapons primed for what they expected to be a swift and decisive battle. But humanity was ready. As the Vex-Car fleet approached Earth, they encountered a multi-layered defense network unlike anything they'd faced before. Automated defense platforms, hidden in the asteroid belt, sprang to life. Minefields of miniature eye-controlled drones swarmed enemy ships, exploiting microscopic weaknesses in their shields. And at the heart of it all, the combined Earth fleet stood ready, a mix of conventional warships and experimental vessels that defied easy categorization. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as one of the most intense and innovative conflicts in galactic history. Vex-Car commanders, used to relying on superior firepower and numbers, found themselves constantly wrong-footed by human tactics. One moment, they'd be pressing an advantage, only to find that what they thought was a retreating human ship was actually a holographic decoy. In another sector, a squad of Vex-Car cruisers would suddenly find themselves enveloped in a localized time dilation field, their movements slowed to a crawl, while human ships darted around them with impunity. But the Vex-Car were not easily defeated. Their sheer numbers and firepower pushed Earth's defenses to the breaking point. For every clever human tactic, the Vex-Car responded with overwhelming force. The space around Earth became a graveyard of shattered ships and debris from both sides. As the battle raged, the rest of the galaxy watched with a mixture of horror and fascination. The Zarthonians, true to their word, sent a fleet to aid Earth, though internal political divisions limited their support. Other races, seeing an opportunity in the chaos, began to take sides. The conflict that had started as a localized human Vex-Car war was rapidly escalating into a galactic conflagration. Amidst the chaos of battle, unexpected alliances formed. A faction of a cybernetic race known as the Synthar, impressed by human AI innovations, offered their support. The Eldar, ancient and typically isolationist, saw in humanity a spark of the same creative fire that had once defined their own civilization. They provided crucial intelligence on Vexcar movements and weaknesses. As the war expanded beyond the Sol system, humanity's adaptability truly shone. Terran diplomats worked tirelessly, forging alliances and turning former skeptics into stalwart allies. Human scientists collaborated with alien counterparts, combining technologies in ways never before imagined. But the cost was immense. Colonies on Mars and Europa lay in ruins. Earth's orbital installations were battered, its cities scarred by occasional Vexcar bombardments that penetrated the planetary shields. Millions had died, and millions more were displaced. Yet still, humanity fought on. In the burned-out husk of a space station orbiting Venus, Admiral Rodriguez rallied her battered fleet for one final push. "We didn't come this far to falter now," she declared, her voice carrying to ships across the system. "We are humanity. We faced extinction before and survived. We'll do it again. Not just for Earth, but for every race that believes in freedom and self-determination. This is our moment. Let's make it count." As her words faded, a massive Vexcar dreadnought emerged from faster-than-light travel near Earth's moon, flanked by hundreds of support ships. The final battle for the fate of humanity, and perhaps the galaxy, was about to begin. A new balance of power. The massive Vexcar dreadnought loomed over Earth's moon, its imposing silhouette eclipsing the lunar surface. Supreme Commander Zarthal stood on the bridge, his scaled skin shimmering with anticipation. This would be the final push, the decisive blow to crush these upstart humans once and for all. "All ships, commence the attack," he ordered, his voice cold and confident. "Show no mercy." But as the Vexcar fleet surged forward, they were met with a sight that gave even the battle-hardened Zarthal pause. The combined Earth fleet, battered but unbroken, formed a protective barrier around the planet. And they weren't alone. Zarthonian cruisers, their crystalline hulls glittering in the starlight, took up flanking positions. Synthar cyberships, their designs an uncanny blend of organic and mechanical, filled gaps in the formation. And there, emerging from the shadow of Mars, came the ethereal vessels of the Eldar, silent and deadly. Admiral Rodriguez's voice crackled across all frequencies, addressing friend and foe alike. "This is humanity's stand, not just for ourselves, but for a galaxy where diversity and self-determination are respected. We did not seek this war, but we will end it. Here, today." What followed was a battle that would be studied in war colleges across the galaxy for centuries to come. The Vexcar's superior numbers crashed against the Allied fleet like a tidal wave. But where the Vexcar were rigid and hierarchical, the Allies were fluid and adaptive. Human ships darted between lumbering Vexcar cruisers, their advanced point defense systems turning incoming fire into dazzling light shows. Zarthonian vessels provided covering fire, their energy weapons punching through enemy shields. Synthar ships unleashed swarms of nanobots that ate through Vexcar hull plating like acid. And the Eldar, masters of hit-and-run tactics, struck at critical weak points before vanishing into folded space. On Earth, Dr. Tanaka and her team worked feverishly to bring their secret weapon online. In a hidden facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, a massive device hummed to life. It was the culmination of years of research, combining human ingenuity with knowledge gleaned from a dozen alien races. "Energy levels are stable," one of Tanaka's assistants reported. "The quantum field is aligning." Tanaka nodded, her face etched with concentration. "Initiate the sequence, and may whatever gods are out there help us all." In space, the battle reached a fever pitch. The Vexcar dreadnought, nearly the size of a small moon, unleashed a barrage that shattered planets and vaporized ships. Earth's shields flickered dangerously. But then, something extraordinary happened. A pulse of energy, invisible to the naked eye, but felt by every ship's sensors, emanated from Earth. It expanded rapidly, engulfing the entire solar system in seconds. For a moment, Everything seemed to freeze. Then, chaos erupted. Vexcar ships suddenly found their weapons offline, their engines sputtering. Some vessels began to drift, their crews unconscious. Others sparked and shuddered as if every system was misfiring at once. Supreme Commander Zarthal stared in disbelief as his mighty dreadnought became little more than a floating hulk. What is this sorcery? He sputtered. Back on Earth, Dr. Tanaka allowed herself a small smile. The quantum disruptor, she explained to her awestruck team. It creates a field that selectively interferes with specific energy patterns. We tuned it to target Vexcar technology without affecting our allies. They're dead in the water. As the Vexcar fleet drifted helplessly, the Allied ships moved in. But instead of destruction, they offered salvation. Human and alien rescue ships approached the stricken Vexcar vessels, offering aid to the crews who, moments ago, had been trying to annihilate them. Admiral Rodriguez's voice once again filled the communications channels. Vexcar forces, your fleet is disabled. Your invasion has failed. But we do not seek your destruction. Surrender, and you will be treated with dignity. This war ends now, not with annihilation, but with an offer of peace. Hours passed as tense negotiations unfolded. Finally, aboard the neutral ground of a Zarthonian diplomatic vessel, Supreme Commander Zarthal faced President Okafor and representatives from the Allied races. You could have destroyed us, Zarthal said, his voice a mix of bitterness and grudging respect. Why didn't you? Okafor's reply was calm but firm. Because that's not who we are. Humanity has learned, often through bitter experience, that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to show mercy. We fought to defend ourselves and our right to exist as equals. We won. Now we choose peace. The peace talks that followed lasted for weeks, but eventually a new galactic accord was reached. The Vexcar Dominion would disarm its most powerful weapons and submit to restrictions on military expansion. In return, they would be welcomed as equals into a new galactic council, where all sentient races would have a voice. As news of the war's end spread across the stars, celebrations erupted on countless worlds. On Earth, humans emerged from shelters to find a sky filled not with the fire of battle, but with the lights of friendly alien ships. The long night was over. A new dawn had begun. In the years that followed, the galaxy entered an unprecedented era of cooperation and discovery. The Galactic Council, headquartered on a space station orbiting Jupiter, became a forum for diplomatic resolution and collaborative scientific endeavors. Human innovation, combined with the wisdom and technology of older races, led to astonishing breakthroughs. The quantum disruptor technology was adapted for peaceful uses, revolutionizing energy production and space travel. Terraforming techniques advanced rapidly, opening up new worlds for colonization and easing population pressures across the galaxy. But perhaps the most profound change was in how the various races viewed each other. The humans, once dismissed as primitive upstarts, were now respected as valuable allies and innovators. The Vexcar, forced to abandon their militaristic ways, discovered new avenues for growth in art and philosophy. Even the ancient Eldar found their enthusiasm for the cosmos rekindled by humanity's boundless curiosity. As for Commander Xyra, she chose to remain on Earth as the Zarthonian ambassador. In a quiet moment, gazing at the stars from the balcony of the new galactic embassy in New York, she mused to Admiral Rodriguez, "We thought we came to guide you. In the end, you showed us a new way forward. The galaxy will never be the same." Rodriguez nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "That's the thing about humanity, Commander. We're full of surprises, even to ourselves." As they stood there, watching ships from a dozen worlds crisscross the night sky, both alien and human felt a sense of wonder at what the future might hold. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of underestimation and the power of unity in diversity. And humanity, that young, brash, endlessly inventive species from a small blue planet, had finally taken its place among the stars. not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals, ready to face whatever challenges the vast cosmos might bring. The story of humanity's rise was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun.